Hey, Paul, John Moeller here, just doing the data review of the data and video that we collected from our last session at COTA. Specifically, I'm doing analysis on our two fast laps in your Senna. Unfortunately, I didn't get good data for my demo lap in the 620R. For some reason, it was corrupted. But fortunately, we have pretty solid data for both of our laps in the Senna. So this is the comparison of those two laps, trying to show you where we can find some speed for you from that car at COTA. If you haven't seen it before, this is the data fields that I'm analyzing. I feel that these are probably the best ones to go over. We've got our RPM, kind of shows that I was actually short shifting a bit on my lap. We've got our pedal position sensor, which is actually a better indication of what you're doing with your right foot than the throttle position sensor. So this is really useful to see what's happening with that right foot. Then we have GPS speed, which is pretty obvious. And then also lateral acceleration, which is pulled from the GPS. At the bottom here is the time comparison. That's pretty useful in order to be able to show when we're making significant gains on versus your laps. So on this chart, my lap is in the red, your lap is in the green, and from there we can go ahead and get started. I broke this down into sectors. So there's kind of 5 sectors that I broke the track down into to make this a little bit easier to see and go over. That said, as we enter on to the front straightaway here, you can actually see in the map, you were a bit wide, a little bit off the apex when we entered into here. We just came in a little bit hot into 20, and so ran a little bit wide exiting onto that front straightaway versus I was able to get a good clean line on the entry to the lap. And what you can see here is you can see how that affected my ability to get on that throttle. You can see relatively aggressive throttle input here. And I also kind of take a look at how this ramps up here. That's what I talk about when I'm talking about easing into that throttle, right? It's a nice smooth motion and then more rapid application of that throttle as we get close to 100% throttle. That just is, as I straighten that wheel out, that's just being confident on that throttle. And that provides me a little bit of a gain here as we go onto that front straightaway. You can see I'm 6 miles an hour faster than you on the early phases of the straightaway there. So that does get me a little bit of time. We haven't actually started the lap yet here, but obviously gaining some ground already as I enter onto that front straightaway. Okay, so coming into turn 1, we can see I've got a slightly higher Vmax, 2 miles an hour as we come into it. We can see that I delay a little bit on that brake pedal where you're applying it pretty hard here. That's just because I realized that I was carrying a little bit too much brake pressure and wanted to carry just a little bit more speed into that corner. That's where we can see this gap here. Not a major difference between the two of us, but what it is indicating and something that I'd like to see from you is a little bit more trail braking. So carrying that brake pressure a little bit deeper, a little bit closer to that apex. We can see both of our min speeds happen just before that apex, which is good. That's actually desirable. So I do want to commend you for that. And then also taking a look at how your speed drops here. You are doing a decent job of trail braking there, but I would love to see that just carry a little bit deeper into that braking zone. And then from there, our min speeds are very similar. It looks like I have maybe a mile an hour on you, even It's not even that much. So it's very low difference in min speeds. As a result, I'm really not making up much time as we come into here. I believe the 0.32 seconds here likely just has to do with that small area under the curve here where I was a little bit, I relaxed a little bit on my braking just to carry a little bit more speed deeper and then getting on those brakes a little bit harder at the finish. So a little bit of a bump there, but then you can see it even drops down and I'm back down to 0.2 seconds as we come out of turn one. But here is where things really start to change, is that exit of turn one. You can take a look here. You can see that my throttle application and my confidence in the throttle is very high coming down that hill. I really get into that throttle, start to drive that car into the corner. And right here, I've got 9 miles an hour on Hugh. This is significant, and I want you to really pay attention to that. As we compress into that hill for turn two, compressing into the hill is the wrong terminology. We're coming off the hill and then bottoming into the bottom of the hill. That's creating an incredible amount of mechanical grip in the car. Frankly, this is probably the grippiest area of COTA that I can think of for a long period, because literally we've got that gravity compressing the car into the ground. So I really take advantage of that and use that. And you can see that as I come through here with just having more confidence and higher G forces here, right? So I'm pulling probably 0.1, even 0.2 greater G's than you, kind of on average as I come through here, really letting that car run, really pushing it. And that's allowing me to carry that greater speed. Again, in some spots here, right, like I think it gets close to 10 miles an hour. Yeah, there's 13 miles an hour as I come through here. So I am really using this section here to generate a lot of speed and gain time. You can see right here the gap in time. I've gained a second on you in between the exit of turn one and the entry to turn three. So definitely want to find that confidence here and carry more speed, and just accept the fact that your car is a lot, it has the ability to grip there due to that downforce that is generating, as well as that compression that's happening into the corner. So that's it for sector one. I'm going to go ahead and tie this to the video. The video should come first, then you can do the data. You'll see the data second, and then we'll move on and I'll start covering sector two.